Good evening, welcome, and thanks for coming to listen to our 2021 forensics pieces. My name is Sierra Lanning, and I will be your host for the evening. This year has been a strange and stressful season due to COVID restrictions. Performing in front of a monitor versus live presentation is a different as day and night. We thrive on personal interaction and immediate feedback from an audience, and let's face it, none of that took place in front of a blank screen. Our team only consists of 8 members this year, but in spite of our small numbers, we did manage to bring home a second place trophy from the Phillipsburg tournament. Saturday, 5 of us will compete via Zoom performance for state honors. Let's hope next year everything is back to normal. Okay, our first performer for you this evening is senior Farrin McCoy with her rendition of a series solo entitled Handler. A series solo is a memorized 10-minute acting presentation. Personally, the solo gives me the creeps.
There are few creatures in life that create as much fear or panic as those of snakes. From the beginning of time, they have been perceived as evil and dangerous. Of course, there are those who say they are misunderstood. In the end, I guess it depends on what you believe. Handler by Jane Martin. My daddy was going to do this tonight, but the Lord froze his face, so he sent me. I learned this from my daddy, who learned from great-grand, who took it on from the Reverend Solomon Bracewood, who had himself a mule ministry around these parts way back when. Daddy taught Miss Ellie, my ma, and my brother Jamie. You see, what I got in here is snakes. A lot of people don't like snakes. Give it its nature, I guess. Well, rattlers is your biggest. Lot of them. You milk you a rattler, you can half fill up a juice glass. Daddy said Jamie should do rattlers, but he never. Did heads, copperheads. Now, they're slower and safer, but it ain't such a good show. You know those dang snakes smell like cucumbers? Well, they do. Miss Ellie, she preferred moccasins. Daddy, too. Well, he did all kinds of ways. Your moccasin now, he's a good old boy snake. Flat out mean and lots of get up and go. Heck, they'll chase you. They will. Old Dada, he didn't like Miss Ellie doing them. You lay off them mocks for they lay you down. Made Miss Ellie laugh. Snake handling? All my blood does it. Just Dada and me now, though. Snake handling with the Holiness Church. Down where I come from, we take God pretty seriously. Got the spirit? Snake don't bite. If he bites you, you know you ain't got the spirit. Makes the difference real clear now, don't it? It's right there in Scripture. Mark chapter 16, verses 17 and 18. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak in new tongues. They shall take up serpents, and if they shall drink any deadly thing, it shall not harm them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Don't figure it could be much clearer than that. There's some churches now don't use snakes. Use strychnine, powdered poison. Same idea, though. They mix it in with cherry Kool-Aid, sing them a hymn, drink it all, and stand around waiting to see if they fall over. It ain't much of a show. Not like snakes. When I handle, I keep them in this box. Daddy got me this in some hottie doll on my 9th birthday. Sometimes I just open the lid and stick my foot in, or lay it open side of my chest. There's some handlers lay their face to it. I don't. Scares my eyes. During service, we take them out and pass them around. It's a lot more dangerous than a single handler. Snake gets to comparing who got the spirit a whole lot and who just got some. And somebody's just about bound to come in second. Don't get me wrong now. You don't die every time you're bit. I've been bit 7 times, 4 times, by the same serpent. Daddy says he's got the sweet tooth for me. Daddy, he been bit 32 times and never saw him a doctor. Used to let me kiss him on all the marks. Last one, got him right here. Froze him right up. Daddy says a thaw, but I don't know. Day after Jamie left, Miss Ellie did moccasins in the back of a pickup over to Hard Burley. Shouldn't have ought to, because her mind weren't there. Cold truck backfired and she got bit. Snake bit her 3 more times before she hit the ground. Daddy laid hands on her, but she died anyway. Snakes know what you feel. You can fool a person, but you can't fool a snake. Got the spirit? God locks their jaws, keeps you safe. I was handling when I knew it sure. Snake was just coming on down the line. Marty, she yells out, the Lord's in me and with me, in me and with me. No, he was ululating, talking in tongues. A couple of folks was rolling around and singing. Daddy, he was doing switch grips. Had Miss Sully's wedding ring on his little finger. About that time, they laid that snake on me. Felt fussy, nasty, just looking for an excuse, you know? And I was an empty vessel. My blood went so cold, Snake knew, started to get leverage. So I said, Snake, you Satan's handmaiden. You're right, there ain't no God in me. I'm just a woman. But I'm the only woman in my dad-ass house, and he needs me home. Out of his faith and his need, you lock your jaws. I let that snake feel child's pure love. And old Wiggly went limp. I tranced it. It was a real good service. Didn't nobody handling get bit. Yes, you've got to believe. Holiness Church is dead right about that. Makes me wonder, you know. I get to looking at people and wondering if they got anything in them could lock a serpent's jaws. Any power, or spirit, or love, or whatever. I look at them and wonder, could they handle? Tell you what though, you can see it in a face. You can read it. You look me square in the face, don't take me but 30 seconds. It's like I was a snake. Some old pit viper, and I can read your heart. Maybe you can handle, maybe you can't. But there ain't but one sure thing in this world. You're empty, you're gonna get bit. Thank you.
Okay, enough with the creepy stuff. Our next performer is a double state champs qualifier, sophomore Adrian Hawkins. On Saturday, she and I will be competing in the category of impromptu duet acting, more commonly referred to as IDA. For the event, we have 30 minutes to prepare a skit based off of 2 characters, a situation, and a place that we draw from a bucket 30 minutes prior to our performance. Let me tell you, some of our skits really stretch the imagination. We will not be performing an IDA for you this evening, but for your entertainment, Adrian will present her state qualifying prose piece. A prose presentation is the reading of an excerpt taken from a book or other published material that is no more than 7 minutes in length. Facial expressions, tone, voice, and limited body language are displayed for a successful prose piece. Rules state that the piece is not to be memorized, but trust me, she could recite it by heart.
Ever have one of those days when nothing goes right? Everyone does, even people living in Australia. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard. And by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Miss Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Miss Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Phil Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyer was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds. And Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was. Because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me.
Come back next week and I'll fix it,
said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick called me a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with a car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose red ones with blue stripes. But then the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones. But they can't make me wear them. When we picked my dad up at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine. But I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be except for my elbow. He also said, don't fool around with his phone. But I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eye, my marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse might light went out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony and not with me. It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. Thank you.
Poor kid. Now, I've had some bad days, but I'm not sure they were quite as bad as that. Okay, keeping with the kid theme, our next performer is senior Kandis Frydendall. She has had a busy season competing in 3 different categories: IDA, prose, and poetry. For your entertainment, she digs back to the nostalgic area of Winnie the Pooh with her rendition of a poetry piece seen through the eyes of Christopher Robbins, beloved bear.
His head may be full of fluff, but you and I can learn from him about a few things about fitting in with a society obsessed with being thin. Teddy Bear by A.A. Milne. A bear, however hard he tries, grows tubby without exercise. Our teddy bear is short and fat, which is not to be wondered at. He gets what exercise he can by falling off the Automan, but generally seems to lack the energy to clamber back. Now, tubbiness is just the thing which gets a fellow wondering, and Teddy worried lots about the fact that he was rather stout.
he thought. If only I were thin, but how does anyone begin? He thought. It really isn't fair to grudge me exercise and air. For many weeks, he pressed in vain his nose against the window pane and envied those who walked about reducing their unwanted stout. None of the people he could see is quite, he said, as fat as me. Then, with a still more moving sigh, I mean, as fat as I. Now Teddy, as was only right, slept in the Automan at night, and with him crowded in as well more animals than I can tell. Not only these, but books and things such a kind relation brings. Old tales of once upon a time, and history retold in rhyme. One night, it happened that he took a peep at an old picture book, and where he came across by chance the picture of a king of France, a stoutish man, and down below these words. King Louis, so-and-so, nicknamed the Handsome. There he sat. And think of it, the man was fat. Our bear rejoiced like anything to read about this famous king, nicknamed the Handsome. There he sat. And certainly the man was fat, nicknamed the Handsome. Not a doubt, the man was definitely stout. Why then, a bear, for all his tub, might yet be named the Handsome Cub. Might yet be named? Or did he mean that years ago he might have been? For now, he felt a slight misgiving. Is Louis so-and-so still living? Fashion and beauty have a way of altering from day to day. Is Handsome Louis with us yet? Unfortunately, I forget. Next morning, nose to window pane, the doubt occurred to him again. One question hammered in his head. Is he alive or is he dead? Thus, nose to pane, he pondered, but the lattice window loosely shut swung open with one startled "Ow!" Our Teddy disappeared below. There happened to be passing by a plump man with a twinkling eye, who, seeing Teddy in the street, raised him politely to his feet and murmured kindly in his ear soft words of comfort and cheer. Well, well, allow me, not at all. Tut, tut, a very nasty fall. Our bear not answered a word. It's doubtful if he even heard. Our bear could only look and look. The stout man in the picture book, that handsome king, could this be he, the man of adiposity? Impossible, he thought, but still, no harm in asking. Yes, I will. Are you, by any chance, His Majesty, the King of France? The other answered, I am that, bowed stiffly, and removed his hat. Excuse me, but is it Mr. Edward Bear? And Teddy, bending very low, replied politely, Even so. They stood beneath the window there, the king and Mr. Edward Bear, and, handsome, if a trifle fat, talked carelessly of this and that. Then said His Majesty, Well, well, I must get on, and rang the bell. Your bear, I think. Good day, and turned and went upon his way. A bear, however hard he tries, grows tubby without exercise. Our teddy bear is short and fat, which is not to be wondered at. He gets what exercise he can by falling off the ottoman. But do you think it worries him to know that he is far from slim? No, just the other way about it. He's proud of being short and stout. Thank you.
Humor seems to be the theme, so let's keep going with Senior Dylan Bray. Dylan transferred to Smith Center this past fall and decided to try his hand at the thespian competition, and we are glad he did since he qualified 2 events for state competition. For your pleasure, he will now present his prose piece.
I read Charlotte's Web and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory every year. And every year, when Charlie finds the golden ticket and Charlotte dies, I cry. I take slivers out of fingers and bad sports out of seal the bacon. I know when a child has gum in his mouth, even when he is not chewing. I have sung Happy Birthday 657 times. I am a teacher. Elementary teaching. It is not for the faint of heart. It takes tenacity, patience, and guts, accompanied by an enormous sense of humor. Please join me today for The Laminating Machine, an excerpt taken from 32 third graders and 1 class buddy by Philip Dunn. I am a teacher. I used to laminate everything. Absolutely everything. Posters, prints, bookmarks, birthday certificates, awards, library passes, name tags, file folders, real estate calendars. You name it, I laminated it. They used to call me the Laminating King. It got pretty bad. Once, Kathy sent me a note with a question. Attached was a sticky note. It said, "Please just answer question. Do not laminate." But now, I won't go near the machine. Not even close. You see, one night I was in the staff room laminating my kids' artwork for back to school night. It was late. Now, you know what a laminating machine looks like, of course. It's about 3 feet wide and sits on a table. It's got 2 big rolls of plastic. You put whatever it is you want to laminate in on one side. It goes to the 2 big rolls of laminating plastic. The plastic is hot and adheres to the paper. And then your paper comes out all nicely laminated on the other side. It's great. So there I was, carefully guiding each piece of artwork into the laminator, humming along, when all of a sudden, I felt this tug. I looked down, my tie was caught in the machine. Immediately, I pulled back, but the tie was stuck. I tugged again, still nothing. I jerked a 3rd time, no luck. Meanwhile, I was still rolling into the machine. Oh no, I thought, I'm going to die. I could see the headlines. Teacher flattened in laminating machine. Teacher suffocates to death in hot plastic. Teacher becomes art project. J.C. Penney recalls 1 million ties. I slammed off the switch. I kept rolling. Crap! It was the heat button. I pushed another button. I started rolling faster. No! I reached under the table, fumbled for the cord. I found it, and I yanked it as hard as I could. Suddenly, everything stopped. I sighed, closed my eyes, and set my head on the edge of the table. I didn't move for about 10 seconds. My head was about 5 inches away from the roller. Finally, I lifted my head and looked around the room. How the heck am I gonna get out of this thing? I thought to myself, I couldn't undo my tie. The skinny part had gone in the back too. Then I spotted some scissors on the counter. I tried to reach for them, but they were too far away. Dang it! What was I going to do? Hello? I said softly. Hello? Nobody answered. Oh no, if I don't get out of here, the other teacher will find me here in the morning. I yelled louder. Help! Help! Finally, after about 10 minutes of my screaming at the top of my lungs, Marion walked into the room. She covered her mouth. Don't laugh! Get me out of this thing! How did you? Never mind! Just get me out of this! Grab those scissors over there and cut the tie! Cut it? Cut it! But it's a nice tie. I don't care about the stupid tie. Just get me out of here and stop laughing. It's not funny. Marion cut the tie, and I was saved. That night, I made her swear to not tell a soul. But Marion is not so good at keeping secrets. For weeks afterward, strangers would pass me in the supermarket, at the gas station, everywhere, point to my tie, and start cracking up. I called my dad and told him the whole story. He couldn't stop laughing either. Until I told him it was his tie. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. I suggest you stay away from those laminating machines. Let's shift gears and switch to a more serious topic. Whether you are politically inclined or not, Brennick's poetry piece is quite controversial in today's political scene. It doesn't matter if you agree with him or not, the topic does give you food for thought. A good poem makes the reader or listener ponder on what is being said. And with that being said, here's Brennick.
Where to start? Aha! I got it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Let's start there. An Abridged History of America by Joshua Sands. God bless America, land that I love. We set forth for this great land with beautiful English ships, English money, English people. We got settled with English help, English food shipments, English medical remedies. We settled. And we spat on the English, shot the English, poured tea on the English, declared independence from the English. Thanks for the memories, England. Now leave. We're coming to America. Indians treated the land with respect, so we shot them, moved them to 5 square blocks south of Phoenix, Arizona. We purchased blacks from Africa, beat them, kept them illiterate, called them 3/5 of a regular American for census purposes only, Even when they were freed, they were uneducated, laughed at, spat on. Only now they were homeless and hungry. Thanks, blacks, for picking our cotton. We're warm. Now, go build a fire. I'm confused who Americans look up to. Who do you respect in your country? You mock your leader on talk shows and impersonate him to create a cartoon. Who do you look up to? We fought some wars for rightful causes. Weird people out there. Stalin, Hitler. Yet, we were and are the only people to drop an A-bomb on anyone, and then do it again for emphasis. I came to America to witness the future. I learned the language. I brought my own money. I came to America because they say it is the land of dreams. We're homeless in America. The blacks found a leader, Martin Luther King. So we shot him. We found a leader, JFK. So we shot him. Our leader had a brother, Robert. So we shot him. We found a singer, John Lennon. And we shot him too, because we were out of leaders. Buy American, don't let the Japanese take over. The Japanese school day is roughly 10 hours, consisting of rigorous study in the sciences, languages, composition, mathematics, history. The American school day is roughly 6½ hours, consisting of the same subjects, with recesses, study halls, club meetings, and convocations mixed in. The Japanese are ahead because they know mathematics. 6½ mixed hours do not equal 10 quality hours. But still, buy American. I was told the other day that we donated over $10 billion to other countries in the name of foreign relief. This will improve their quality of living, or so I'm told. I was told the other day that my son needs an operation. I was told the other day that without it, he will not survive. I was told the other day to put up collection jars in the community. I was told the other day to pray. The other day, I prayed. The other day, I prayed for a miracle. The other day, I went to the grocery store and picked up $8 in loose change. Today, I will pray again. We elected an actor to be president, so we wouldn't have to train him how to lie. Besides, he looked good on TV, and the Alzheimer's jokes were funny later on. Weren't they? Oh, say, can you see? 'Cause my fat butt might be in your way. By the dawn's early light. Yeah, like we're getting up at dawn. What so proudly we hailed. Hail to this remote control. At the twilight's last gleaming. Where's the chips? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free? But don't smoke in public, burn flags, burn leaves, or forget to wear your seatbelt. And the home of the brave. Heck, let's just drop an A-bomb. We sit in our air-conditioned condominium with our Volvos and our email and our voicemail and cupboards full of food and 32-inch TVs with 73 channels and cordless phones and power tools and jet skis and mutual fund reports and guest watches and 2.5 kids and a Dalmatian named Spy. And we say that we deserve it because we're American. And we buy it every time. Thank you.
let's keep it going with a poetry theme. So here's Dylan with his second state qualifying piece.
It doesn't matter why I was there, where the air is sterile and the sheets sting. It doesn't matter that I was hooked up to this machine that buzzed and beeped every time my heart leaped. Like a man whose faith tells him God's hands are big enough to catch an airplane or a world. It doesn't matter that I was curled up like a fist protesting death, or that every breath is either hard labor or hard time, or that I'm always either too hot or too cold. It doesn't matter, because my hospital roommate wears Star Wars pajamas, and he's 9 years old. His name is Lewis, and I don't have to ask what he's got. The bald head with the skin and bones frame speaks volumes. Unfortunately, for some children, the battle with cancer does not end in the word remission or cure, but in death. In one sense, these brave little children have lost their battle with the cancer monster. Yet in another sense, they have actually been granted the ultimate victory by being given angel wings. The Crickets Have Arthritis by Shane Coyson. I manage to smile the first time I see him, and it feels like the biggest lie I've ever told. So I hold my breath, because I'm thinking any minute he's going to call me on it. I hold my breath, because I'm scared of a 57-pound boy hooked to a machine. Because he's been watching me. Maybe I've got him pegged all wrong. But my fear subsides in the moment I realize Lewis is all about show and tell. He's got everything, from a shotgun shell to a crow's foot, and can put them all into context like, see, this is from a shooting range, and see, this is from a weird girl. I watch his hand curl around a tie tack and a cufflink, and realize that every knick-knack is a treasure, and every treasure has got a story, and every time I think I can't handle more, he hits me with another story. See, this is from my father. See, this is from my brother. This is from that weird girl. Took him about 2 hours today after she left for him to figure out he missed her. They visit every day and stay well past visiting hours, because for them, that term doesn't apply. But when they do leave, Lewis and I are left alone, and he says the worst part about being sick is you get all the free ice cream you ask for. And he says the worst part about that is realizing that there's nothing more they can do for you. Ice cream can't make everything okay. And there's no easy way of asking, how do you know what he's going to say? But maybe he just needs to say it, so I ask him anyway. Are you scared? Lewis doesn't even lower his voice when he says, hell yeah! I listened to a 9-year-old boy say the word hell like he was a 30-year-old man with a nosebleed being lowered into a shark tank. He's got a right to it. And if it takes this kid a curse word to help him get through it, I want to teach him to swear like the devil was sitting there taking notes with a pen and a pad. But before I can forget that Lewis is 9 years old, he says, please don't tell my dad! He asked me if I believe in angels. And before I realize I don't have the heart to tell him, I tell him, not lately. I've been with him for 5 days, and all I really know is Lewis loves to pull feathers out of his pillow and watch them float to the ground. Almost as if he was the philosopher inside of the scientist waiting to tell us that it's gravity that's been getting us down. But the truth is, there's not enough miracles to go around, kid, and there's too many people petitioning God for the winning lottery ticket. And for every answered prayer, there's a cricket with arthritis. And the only reason we can't find answers is the search party didn't invite us. And Louis, right now the crickets have arthritis. So there is no music, no symphony of nature swelling to crescendos. So we must meet silence with the same level of noise that the parents of dying 9-year-old boys make when they take liberties in talking with heaven. We must shout until we shatter in our own vibrations, then let our lives echo and grow, echo and grow, echo and grow. Grow distant enough to know that as far as our efforts go, we don't always get a reply. But I swear to whatever God I can find in the time I have left, I'm gonna remember you, kid. Gonna tell your story as often as every story you told me. And when I tell it, I'll say, see, there's bravery in this world. There's 6.5 billion people curled up like fists protesting death. But every breath we take has to be given back. A 9-year-old boy taught me that. So hold your breath. The same way you hold a pen when writing thank you letters on your skin to every tree that gave you that breath to hold. And let it go. As if you understand something about getting old and have to give back. Because what is your night worth without a story to tell? People drop pennies down a wishing well as if the cost of desire is equal to that of a thought. But if you've got expectations, expect others have bought your exact same dream for the price of hard work, hang in, hold on mentality. Lewis and I cracked this world wide open and found the prize inside because we never lied to ourselves, never told ourselves to be easy or undemanding. So we sing in our own vibrations and dare angels to eavesdrop and stop mid-flight to pluck feathers from their wings and write demands on God's hands. I don't often believe in angels, but on the day I left, Lewis pulled a feather from his pillow and said, "This is for you." I half expected him to say, "See, this is the first one I grew." Thank you.
If I'm being honest, that's the first time I've heard like that one, and that was really good. Everyone's was really good, but it's really good. Before we bring out our last performer for the evening, we want to say thank you for coming out to support us. We hope you have enjoyed our presentations. We will do our best to bring home the gold on Saturday. And with that being said, we will switch gears and send you home on a humorous note that I think many of you can relate to. Performing her second qualifying state piece is Kandis.
Dad! Yes? Are we there yet? No. Now? No. Now? For goodness sake, will you stop it? All right. Don't get your knickers in a knot. Parents everywhere, I get it. You love your children, but the moment you step into a vehicle with them, it's like walking to the gates of hell. Something about a moving vehicle causes them to say and do the most irritating things. And since you're behind the wheel, you're powerless to stop it. Are We There Yet? By Andy Griffiths. We've been in the car for 2 days now. Mom and Dad are at a breaking point. Don't get me wrong, I don't want them to get mad at me. It just happens.
Like it or not, when you go on a long drive, there are times when you just have to stop. And my parents do not like it. But what's the alternative? Mom and Dad should save their energy for really annoying things, like this fly that has been buzzing around the car for the last half hour. I'm gonna do us all a big favor. I'm gonna get rid of it. I wind the window down. The fly jumps away. I have to lure it out. I start doing my best fly call. Bzzz, bzzz. Andy, I can't concentrate with you making that stupid noise. Do you want us to have an accident? I hate it when Dad asks dumb questions like that. What does he expect me to say? Yes, Dad, I want us to have an accident. But I don't say that. Instead, I say, all right, Dad, don't get your knickers in a knot. And stop telling me not to get my knickers in a knot. Okay, don't get your trousers in a twist. Dad hunches over the steering wheel, his knuckles whiten. He knows he's been outsmarted once again. It must be frustrating for him having a child as clever as me. It must be hard knowing he can never win. The fly lazily cruises in front of my eyes. It's asking for trouble. Well, it's come to the right place. Maybe if I open and close the door, I'll be able to suck the fly out. I squeeze the door handle as carefully and slowly as I can so it doesn't make any noise. I swing it open and shut. What do you think you're doing? I'm trying to get the fly out of the car in case it caused an accident. Shut the door. I'm warning you. If you don't behave yourself, you can get out and walk. Do you understand? Dad's knuckles are white now. He's gripping the steering wheel so hard. I hear a buzz. It's coming from behind me. I turn around, but I can't see the fly. Hang on. The noise is coming from outside. I undo my seatbelt and kneel up on the seat to get a better view. There's this crazy-looking guy riding an old black Harley. He got a red beard, a black bull-shaped helmet, and a pair of old-fashioned plastic riding goggles. That makes him look like a fly. And his motorbike sounds like one, only much louder. Suddenly, the fly shoots across the window. Showdown time. I try to cup it in my hand and hook it out the window. That's my plan anyway. But the fly has other ideas. It skates across the window to the far corner and then back again. I'm chased by back and forth across the window. Then I notice that the biker's making hand signals. He thinks I'm waving to him. I wave. We're best friends now. Stop waving. Sit down and put your seatbelt back on. But he waved first. Sit down. Okay. I gave one last wave to the bike man. Then I noticed the movement out of the corner of my eye. I look up. The fly is on the roof. It's taunting me. I reach up and try to couple with my hand. It jumps left and then heads towards the front. I dive into the front seat. I catch the fly in midair. How's that? That slammed the brake on. Get out. Out. Surely he can't be serious. I'm sorry, Dad. I was trying to get the fly out of the car in case it caused an accident. You're the only one who's gonna cause an accident. Out. Well, there's no reasoning with him. I get out of the car and shut the door slowly. The wheels of the car spin, and I'm showered by gravel. They'll be back. 5 minutes tops. Just enough to give me a scare. I start walking. Actually, it's quite nice. No grumpy parents. 5 minutes pass, and another 5 minutes pass. Where are they? I should just lie down and die. That would teach them. Suddenly, I hear a droning sound in the distance. Ha! I check my watch. That's really gonna teach me a lesson I'll never forget. Not. The car stops. Mom and Dad get out. What are you trying to do? Get yourself killed? More dumb questions. You threw me out, remember? I get into the car. We pull out onto the road. Then I see the fly. It's sitting right on top of Dad's head. And it jumps. Oops. Dad, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. See, I was trying to. Dad, are we there yet? Thank you.
That's our program for the evening, guys. Those are the ones that are competing for state this weekend, so thank you for coming. Appreciate it.